Today I was thinking about how hard it was back in the day to communicate with each other, and like how today we have so many different technologies, email, cell phone, we can mail each other. It's just so many different ways of uh, getting a message to somebody, like, what's going on and where you're living, or, now we have TV and news and radio. And, I think about all those different technologies, all those different things that we have, and just how we use them to communicate with each other. It wasn't always that way. Like, back in the day, I mean, you had to be literate. So first you had to know how to read and write, to be able to um, read a letter or even write a letter to someone. And a lot of people didn't know how to read and write. So you think about that aspect of it, but then you think about, you had to be really somewhat wealthy to be able to even send a message to somebody, via mail or mailman, just to get it maybe down the street or to the next town over. And now we have the ability to email somebody or in Southeast Asia, living in Atlanta, or talk to somebody in New York, or hear something going on all the way across the world on the radio. And I think about how amazing that is compared to back in the day, and how messages got around, like what was going on, and how people knew what was happening. I began to think about Christ returning, and how this moment everybody in the world is going to see, and that's mind-boggling. Like, just to be able to think about that, like someone way across the world, like some of my cousins, some of them I haven't met before, family, friends, loved ones, strangers. They all are going to be able to see Christ's return, and that's a beautiful thing. And it really shows you just how great God is. That it could be raining over here, and sunny over here. It could be daytime in one part of the world, and nighttime in another part. But at this moment, you don't have to have a television or a radio or any type of technology. You would be able to see Christ returning, um, coming on clouds of glory. Well, this past week I got a chance to go visit my girlfriend's older sister to celebrate the birth of her nephew, and it was really cool. We got a chance to go see the fireworks, and I just kept thinking about how all these people from around the town was just gazed at this fireworks show, and all their attention was taken away. I mean, look at the fireworks and how it's just so creative how a person shoots up the fireworks, and how each one is different. And you were on the street traveling somewhere, people were parking in the middle of the street just looking up like, oh my gosh, took your attention away. And I thought about how, like, when Christ returns, it's going to be the same thing. Whatever you're doing, wherever you are, your eyes are going to be drawn to the sky. Like, what is that? Who is that? Is that the and it's like those old Superman shows where you know Clark Kent will be coming. It's like, is that a plane? And it's like, oh no, it's Superman. And I mean, this is going to be like huge. Everybody in the entire world is going to be able to see that. Um, in the Old Testament, it talks about how everything will be humbled. All the proud people, even the arrogant people, the people that have really built their names up and not God's name, they're going to be humbled. The people at the high positions, that um, really just care about themselves and not about God, use their talents for themselves. You look at musicians that, I mean, if you're trying to get a crowd to follow you, you pick up a guitar or a microphone and start to sing or rap, automatically you get a crowd that's drawn to you. Um, and people idolize celebrities, and to think that each one of those celebrities are going to be humbled when Christ returns. The only name that's going to be exalted is Jesus' name. Saved, Jesus, um, because when he comes back, he's coming back for his kids, his children, those that believed in him, believed in his word, trusted him, confessed they're a sinner, confessed that he is Lord, confessed that he died on the cross for their sins. Those are the ones going to be taken. Family members, friends, loved ones, strangers around you in your household, in your workplace, at your school. Are you really reaching out to those people? Are you really telling them about God? Because it really is happening. It really is. He really is coming back. It's not a fairy tale. If you proclaim Jesus, if you talk about him, you speak about him, if you shout out his name while you're here on earth, and when you go to heaven, then he'll do the same thing for you. But so many of us have our own lives, our own schedule, our own plan for what we want to do, our own goals, dreams, desires, and kind of forget about God and what He has for us, what His plan for our lives, that we were made for Him and by Him, not for anything else or by anything else. Because of that reason, anything that you do is to glorify God. That's your purpose. If you can sing, sing for God. If you can write, write for God. If you can act, act for God. If you can dance, dance for God. If you teach, teach for God. If you're merciful, be merciful for God. If you give, give for God. It's all for God.